everyone and welcome back to this new video. And in this video I'm gonna share my journal recommendations. I'm very excited to share these because I'm getting into the flow of making videos and I'm back into the flow of journaling, so I'm very excited to make videos about journaling again. And I made a list for you guys with 3 subsections, and I think the best thing to do is just hop into the recommendations. There's only one last thing that I want to say. I've made the recommendation list this way that it's useful for new journalists, beginner journalists, or people who've been around for a long time and have filled many journals along the way. So the first section is journals, and by this I mean type of journals. I will just start with the first one, which is my ultimate go-to. Love this for years. I've never stopped doing this, and that's just a simple diary. Maybe you think that's boring, maybe you're like, but how can I write every single day? No, trust me, a journal is amazing. A diary is amazing, and through the time I've started to name it my journal instead of my diary, because I think there is a thin line between when you call it a journal and when you call it a diary, because I would say a diary is more writing about what you experience, the events of the day, you know, that kind of stuff. And a journal is also about reflecting. I do both of them, so I still name it my diary/journal, but in essence it's just a journal where you write in the events of your life. And I think that's so fun to read back upon, to look back upon, because I also put in photos and just little keepsakes that can remind me of the day. It makes me so happy. But you know this journal by now if you watch my videos. I'm searching for a page to show you that's purely just writing, that isn't too personal. Seems impossible. Oh, also some keepsakes. Okay, I really don't write things because I want to share them on the internet. I really write things down because I want to get out of my head, even though they are so uncensored. But girl, I don't think that I'm gonna find anything in the journal. Even the last thing I wrote, can share. Well, I can show you. This is like the closest thing that I can show you to just a page full of writings. But it's what I did yesterday with the new moon, because yesterday was the 21st of October. I made a new moon spread, but you can see it's just writing, nothing special. I only did this because for the dates, but not to decorate or anything. The next journal is an ID journal, and for me this is a small journal, something that's easy to take with you, and this is purely for me. I think instead of my notes app on my phone, but I also tend to write things down in my notes app, so it's more the both of them. But it's just for if you have an idea that you want to remember, write it down. I sometimes have to doodle or sketch something real quick, and then it's just easy to have this small thing on the go. So an ID journal is also a recommendation, and it's just very easy because it's not something that you have to do every single day. I want also to mention that I don't write in my diary every single day. I just write whenever I feel like it. And this is also whenever I feel like it, whenever I have an idea. So it's less weighted and there's less pressure that comes with it. An ID journal is just a very useful tool, I think. Especially for the people who have a lot going on in their mind. I think a journal in general is very useful for people that have a lot going on in their mind. Okay, then I have something new, and I don't know if this is the correct name, if this is really a thing that, or a type of journal that has a specific name. I think I saw this on Pinterest. I saw somewhere the inspo for this, but I don't know where I saw it. But it's an episode title a day journal. By that I mean just summarizing my day into one single episode title. I mean, look at this journal, by the way, it's so cute. It's not a leukterm, but it's a little booklet that my father brought with him from his trip to Nepal, and I think it's very cute, and the pages are so authentic anyway. And then I just write down the day, and then a title. It's pretty fun. And I also think as time progresses, some of the titles you're like, wait, what did I do that day? It's just fun. So that's something I would recommend. And I also think it's easy if you want to get into the flow and the routine of writing every single day. This isn't that much work. It's so easy to grab. It's 5 seconds to write something down. Okay, that's maybe a lie. Maybe if you calculate the time to think of something, a title, maybe 1 minute. But 1 minute on a whole 24 hours that are in a day. Easy. And the last journal I want to recommend is a gratitude to the last journal I want to recommend is a gratitude to... Can you believe that I cannot pronounce it? It's a gratitude journal. I did it. Okay. We're back on track. Okay. So a gratitude journal is purely for writing down the things you're grateful for. And this can be in many forms. It can be in like a little story about something you're grateful for. The way that I do it is by listing 10 things every single day that I am grateful for. I must say that I'm neglecting it a bit lately because I keep forgetting to bring it with me to my dorm room, which is where I am now. And I still don't have it with me, so I cannot show it to you. But the reason that I really recommend it is because it really shifts your way of thinking and your mindset. It made me so much more calm and at ease in my day-to-day life. I could much more easier change a not so fun experience into something positive in my mind. So yes, that's why I really would recommend a gratitude journal. Then on to the next section, which is prompts. I have for you in store 5 prompts. There are so many more prompts that I could recommend, but I really wanted to make a top 5 because I don't want to overwhelm you. Let's just hop into the prompts, starting off with the first one. What will this new moon bring to me? And I think this is very similar to what will this new month bring me. For me personally, I like to do this with my cards, pulling some oracle cards, pulling some tarot cards to get some messages out there that I can use as a prompt or to stimulate my ability to reflect upon events. I also think new month, new moon, new year, new season, these are moments that I think are very easy to change your routines, to change your mindset, to pick a new goal, simply because there's a lot of new energy. It's not that you're restricted to these moments, but I think it's more easier. But going back to my prompt, just writing down what do I hope that this new moon will bring me and how do I get there. And then in my case, it's by using these cards and just reflecting upon the cards and seeing what they tell you. So I will go to the next one, which is, this is such a classic, but what have I learned from this event? Sometimes so many things happen, or there are events that are less fun in our lives, or there are obstacles that we have to overcome. And I think it's so valuable to really reflect upon this event and look at the things you did and look at the things that you learned so that you can take them with you in the future. Number 3 is what is in my control and what isn't in my control. There are always things happening, and some of these things we can control and some of these things we cannot control. And there are moments in my life that I feel like that I'm being overwhelmed and I don't know what to do and I'm stressing, and I just need to get a grip on my mind and on my racing thoughts that are like, but you need to do this and you need to do this, and what if this happens and what if that happens? And then it's very useful for me to just write down the things that are in my control, write down the things that are out of my control, because the things that are out of my control, I cannot control them, so I just have to let it be. It has no further value or use to stress about these things because it's gonna happen either way, whether I stress about it or not, because it's out of my control. And the things that are in my control, I can take active steps to control them in a way that's suiting for me, that makes me feel at ease or gives me sense that I do have to control about the situation, even though there are still parts that are out of my control. I think that's a very useful part, just to get a grip on the situation and the things that you can do about it. 4, also a classic, what is my goal and how am I going to get there? And this is just making your goal a tangible thing by writing it down, dividing it into steps, seeing how you want to get there, when you want to get there, which way you want to get there. Just really making a plan to get to your goal. This is not something that you write down once and it's done. If you get to your goal in a linear way, that's great. Sometimes there are setbacks, sometimes we have to reshape our plan and we have to ask this prompt again to ourselves, and that's okay, that's fine. So a very useful prompt that you can use on a daily basis, I think, for the small things and also the big life-changing goals, you know. And then number 5 is something we already went over, but I still think this is such a great prompt, whether you have a gratitude journal or not. 10 things I'm grateful for, especially after you have a hard day. Just write down 10 things that you're grateful for, and you will see that there were actually things in your day that weren't as bad. And if 10 things that you're grateful for is overwhelming, then do 5 or 3 if 5 is still too much. That's fine. And you can gradually build it up to 10 or even more if that's something you feel like is right for you. Also, recommendation, tea. Tea during journaling is just the perfect cozy brew, getting you into the zone, all warm and fuzzy. So we're at the last part of this video, the last section, which is stationery. I only have 3 things because I think there are a lot of things that we can recommend, but there are really 3 things that I am very excited and hyped about. First thing is stickers. For those who are new to journaling, I cannot recommend stickers enough because it's so easy. I have this little stash of stickers. I really want to show you. So many stickers. You cannot have enough stickers because I also have a lot of stickers back at home. On the internet we see a lot of these very aesthetic journals, and I can imagine that may feel overwhelming if you just started, or maybe you have a hard time to decorate things, maybe you are not a very skilled doodler, for example, or crafting isn't really your thing, but you do like journaling and you want your journals to look aesthetic. I don't know, I'm just naming things, but stickers are so easy to just make your page a little bit more fun, and it's so you just stick it, and then you have a decorated page. So I really would recommend that if you don't like the plain, boring, I don't think they're boring, but boring pages with only writings in them. Just pick up a sticker, put it in there, and there you go. So stickers. Then I probably think that you all felt this one coming, but I'm going to say it anyway. Luchteren 1917. And then especially the hardcovers, blank page, A5. That's my go-to journal. I did have some different types of journals, but no, this one really is my go-to journal because, I don't know, it's just the perfect size. I love the blank pages. I love the amount of pages. The paper is just perfect. It's not too thick, it's not too thin, but I know you can choose your thickness, and I don't know which thicknesses I have, but this is the most classical one that you find in every store, and they have so many colors. There is something so fun in choosing your next color, because I'm now tending to a maroon color for my next one, because this one is almost full, or maybe ochre yellow, because I also like that, and they are both very fall-like, but I think I will go for the maroon. And then my last recommendation is these pens, the Staedtler Fineliner Tips. I do not write with them. I write with this simple ballpoint pen with black ink that I got at the stationery store in the Netherlands. They are very smooth and I write very nicely, but these are also great for the more stylized pages. They do not smudge if you go over them with watercolors or anything more liquid. Still won't smudge. Very great. love the different thicknesses, and I do think that if you want to write with them, they are also great. I would really recommend them. Okay, so these were all my recommendations. I do have some more, so if you want more recommendations on a certain section, a certain topic, just leave behind a comment. Maybe you have recommendations for other journalers. Also leave them in the comments. And if you would like or subscribe, that would make my day. And I hope I see you in my next video. Bye.